Hey, welcome back to KAMMA. I'm Khalil Deal.
I'm Andy O.
We are KAMMA. We are about to talk about the early predictions for the prelims for UFC 304 held in Manchester, England. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing event. I'm really pumped and really hyped about this one. We're looking at the main event, which is going to be Leon Edwards versus Bilal Muhammad. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get right into it. We're going to talk about the beginning here. We're going to talk about the prelims, who's involved, and let's get it started here. We got Shauna Bannon versus Alice Ardalian, Mick Parkin against Lucas Brzezinski, Sam Patterson against Kiefer Crosby, Mohamed Mokayev against Manel Kape, Oban Elliott against Preston Parsons, Modestas Bukauskas against Marcin Prachnio, Calvin Loughran against Jake Hadley, Molly McCann against Bruna Brazil, and the main event of the prelims, Nathaniel Wood against Daniel Pineda. All right, so without further ado, we're going to get it started off with the first fight, Shauna Bannon against Alice Ardalian. Who you got here, Andy O?
All right, so what's there to say about Shanna Bannon and Alice Ardalian? I'm gonna have to go with Mama B on this one. This is super short notice for Alice Ardalian. The only thing I can say about Alice Ardalian is she has her share of subs and knockouts split for her wins pretty much, and they've come lately. So most of her losses have come earlier in her career, but her wins have been against really just awful competition. Not to say that Shauna Bannon's has come against good competition either. Shauna Bannon tries to kind of wrestle, and I think she's going to have the hometown advantage here. So give me Shauna Bannon by decision, no confidence. Well, you real deal.
All right. Yes, I'm definitely in agreement. I got to go with Shauna Bannon in this one. And it's because of the fact that she's also going to be a little bit younger, 30 years old to 32. She's going to have a 2-inch height advantage. So that's going to help out. And she's going to have a massive 4-inch reach advantage, which is really, really good because Shauna Bannon is a good striker. And she will be able to keep her distance against the smaller Alice Ardalian. Not to mention, our Alice Ardalian is coming in on short notice for sure here. Originally, Shauna Bannon was supposed to fight Oliveira. She was supposed to fight, what was her name?
Ravina Valera.
Ravina Oliveira, that's it. And Oliveira withdrew. And then so she came in to step in short notice here, this Alice girl. So she's also making her UFC debut. She's supposed to be pretty decent, but she's still 9-5, and 9-5 in the lower events. You know what I mean? So fighting against Can, she's 9-5, whereas at least Shauna Bannon was winning, beating everybody in the lower events until she got into the UFC and lost to Bruna Brazil by unanimous decision, and no shame in that. So I'm going with Shauna Bannon to get the win here. I think she's better, and Alice coming in on short notice, I don't think is going to be able to do it. So Shauna Bannon, especially if it's going to go to decision in her hometown. Obviously, everybody in Manchester, they're going to be cheering for all the English fighters, the Irish fighters, the UK fighters. All those fighters are going to be cheered for more, and the decision looks good for her. So I'm going with Shauna Bannon by decision in this one here. All right. We're going to move on up the card here to the next fight. We've got Mick Parkin versus Lucas Brzezinski. So in this one, I got to go with Mick Parkin. Again, he's from England. Again, this is an English card. This is in Manchester, England. So all the English fighters, Irish fighters, UK fighters, anybody in the European area, they are going to be cheered for more. And I like Mick Parkin, man. He's coming off of a 5-fight winning streak. Lucas Brzezinski, man, lost 3 out of his last 5. There was a no contest in there. Mick Parkin's going to have, he's good at grappling. He's good at wrestling. I like him a lot more on the stand up too. I think he's good. I think he punches pretty hard. He beat Mohammed Usman, that bum, as we saw how shitty he was last week. He beat Cal Machado. He beat Jamal Pogues. He beat Eduardo Neves. And after that, before that, it was in the lower level. And then you got, on the other hand, Lucas Brzeski, man, who he did beat Walter Walker, who's decent, who was 11-0 by unanimous decision. But before that, he got knocked out by Waldo Cortes Acosta. He lost the decision to Carl Williams. Lost the split decision to Martin Budai, who's not that great. Carl Williams not that great, and the no contest in the Contender Series. So I gotta go with Mick Parkin, man. Who you got here?
Yeah, Walter Walker, the how do you say it these days? The fraud check?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got fraud checked. Yeah,
no
big
good.
time.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Mick Parkin. I think his striking's better in terms of using it to also really implement his wrestling. I predict he's gonna get Brzeski down. I know Brzeski won his last fight there, if I'm not mistaken, against was it against here? Oh yeah, it was against Walter Walker,
Yeah,
but Walter Walker looked like he didn't know what he was doing there and gassed out completely and really was shameful in that performance. And yeah, as you mentioned, coming off those three losses, I think that performance also, as bad as Walter Walker looked, I think Breshke looked even better than he normally does. So I'm gonna have to give it to the hometown boy, Mick Parkin here myself by knockout or decision.
all right. Yeah, I got Big Parkin winning too. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with that as well. I think he can get a knockout or decision as well there. I like that. Knockout or decision is a good one for him. All right, we're gonna move on up the card to the next fight. We got Sam Patterson against Kiefer Crosby. Who you got here, Andy O?
Yeah, so Sam Patterson here. I think Sam Patterson pretty much has this one in the bag, except for one thing. It's like he still holds his gin with his chin, man, and that's going to be a problem against some guys. But Kiefer Crosby is not one of those guys. I don't think he has the power to like catch Sam Patterson, with his arms at his sides and his chin up in the air. And Sam Patterson's like the better striker as well. I feel he's the better grappler. I feel that Sub is live here. Crosby, he may be one of those guys that doesn't completely belong in the UFC, and that's really much it. Unless he really catches Sam Patterson really precisely and on the mush, I don't think he's going to win this fight because he doesn't have the power as that guy who knocked out Patterson not too long ago. And it was scary after Patterson got up after that knockout, started fighting his coaches, the team, the referee.
Yeah,
Yanal
yeah,
Ashmouz, yeah, who I predicted in that fight. I predicted Ashmouz to win that fight. He was a heavy dog.
yeah.
But yeah, Crosby just doesn't have that type of power. So I'm going to have to give it to Patterson.
Yeah, same here, man. We are in agreement. I like Sam Patterson as well in this one, man. He is from the UK. So again, a UK fighter. Yeah, the other guy's from Ireland, but hey, UK, they're going to be cheering more for the UK since it's in Manchester, Manchester, England. Uh, One thing is that we got to think about here for Sam Patterson. The guy is going to be younger, 28 years old, compared to Kiefer Crosby, who's now 34. Let's not forget that there is a significant height advantage here at 6'3" to 5'11". We're talking a 4-inch height advantage and a massive, massive 8-inch reach advantage for Sam Patterson. So with that being said, man, I gotta go with Sam Patterson. Huge reach advantage, nice height advantage. Not to mention Patterson's a finisher. This guy goes out there, he's got very good submissions. Out of his 11 wins, the guy's got 6 submissions, 4 knockouts. He's a finisher. Goes out there.
Crosby's been finished 3 times. Like he did lose to Kevin Jousset the last time out. No real shame in that. But
That's right. He got sub.
and also the guys he did beat before coming to the UFC. I'm looking Alex Oliveira, right? in Rise FC, and he's like 100 years old now and really washed up. And he beat him, right? So yeah, I don't think he's gonna make it through Patterson here.
Yeah, not to mention he lost twice in Bellator. Then he got those two wins in Rise. No, one was in I don't even know what card, but then of course the Rise, and then he lost to Kevin Jousset. So
And,
not looking good.
and not to mention this guy Brian Lowe and Joe, he beat. He's 48 years old.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah, Sam Patterson, the future. This guy should be getting the win. I got him winning by finish, KO or submission in this one.
oh
That's
yeah,
it.
KO submission. Yeah. Submission.
Submission. All right, nice. All right, moving on up the card next. We have Mohammed Mokayev versus Manel Kopp. So
Now,
this one here,
I'll just say this, man. This is such a good fight, and it shouldn't be on the prelims here.
yeah, I agree, man. This should have been a fight that should have been in the main card. But hey, it's going to be awesome. This fight. Both of these guys are really good. Trust me, I really think Manel Kopp is a good dog, but I got to go with Mohammed Mokayev in this one. Um, just the fact that he's going to be taller too. He's going to be 2 inches taller. He's going to have a 2 inch reach advantage. And Mokayev, man, the guy is just, I was trying to doubt this guy a couple of times. I doubted him, and he proved me wrong every single time he came through. He's been getting win after win after win. Did amazing against Alex Perez, who's a top dog right there, Alex Perez, and he did beat him by unanimous decision. He subbed Tim Elliott. He subbed Jeff El Filo. He subbed Malcolm Gordon. He got a unanimous decision on Charles Johnson. Man, the guy is just proving it every time. He's also from the UK. The fans are going to be cheering for him. I got to go with Mohammed Mokayev. I think he'll get a sub or decision win. Manel Kopp is dangerous, though. He's got some power. He's very unpredictable, flying knees, different things that he does. He's unpredictable. Manel Kopp is a bad man. He also did beat Felipe Dos Santos last fight, David Dvorak, Zalgis Zumagulov, and Odi Osborne. But I still think Mokayev could beat all those guys. So I'm going to go with Mohammed Mokayev in this one by sub or decision.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Makayev also. I think his striking is better than people give him credit for as well. Manel Cap here, he is explosive, but he lacks that volume, I think, right? It seems to me he's always looking for the perfect shot. And I think Mohammed Makayev, for him, he has nice knees and nice kicks as well. But what he also has is that wrestling, the chain wrestling, and really this fight is a question of can Makayev get Kape down, and I think he will at some point, and I think he's going to begin to find the reads when they're on the feet, and I believe we're looking for a late finish by Makayev in the third round or decision victory here.
All righty. So we are in agreement so far in all of the fights. Looking good. Next fight we got here, Oban Elliott against Preston Parsons. I got to go with Preston Parsons in this one. I was going back and forth, of course, especially that Oban Elliott, the Welsh gangster. He's from Wales. This is why they can't all win. Hey, in Manchester, England, the English fighters can't all win. There's going to be a loss somewhere, and I think this is going to be the first loss. Preston Parsons is a beast, man. I really like this guy. I think the fact that he's going to be the better jiu-jitsu, he's got better jiu-jitsu than I believe than Oban Elliott does. Even though Oban Elliott's been doing really well, winning his last 5 fights. Let's not forget that 4 of those 5 fights were against bums in the Contender Series and of course in the lower level events. But he beat Val Woodburn, who's also really not that great. On the other side, Preston Parsons beat some real heavy duty dudes like Matthew Semmelsberger. He beat him by unanimous decision. He's a big ass dude. He lost to Trevin Giles, but he did beat Evan Elder. He lost to Daniel Rodriguez, but and then he subbed Jeff Peterson. So I mean, he's been win, loss, win, loss, win. He's been up and down, but at least he's fought in the UFC a lot compared to Oban's only fought once in the UFC, and it wasn't against a really skillful competitor in Val Woodburn. So I like Preston Parsons with this one. I like his grappling. I like his wrestling. I think he's the better wrestler, the better grappler. He's got good jiu-jitsu. And I got to go with Preston Parsons in this one. I see you shaking your head there. And yo, who you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Oban Elliott here. Keep it going for the Welsh Dragon here. I think his grappling is better than Preston Parsons. I think his jiu-jitsu may be a little worse than Preston Parsons, but I do think he's gonna be able to hold him down. And Preston Parsons is one of those guys that likes to lay there on his back and try to look for subs, and I feel that could be what gets him into trouble in this one because you leave yourself open up there to strikes, to ground and pound, as well as to subs as well. And Parsons, looking at Elliott's losses, it takes knockout power, it seems, to get this guy out of there. And Parsons isn't going to supply that. Also, I think Parsons is being a little favored in this matchup because he won his last fight against Schmelzberger, and he was a pretty decent dog in that one, you know? If he didn't beat Schmelzberger, he would probably be a slight dog in this one here. So I'm going for Elliott to keep it going. Give me Elliott by decision or sub.
I got Preston Parsons by sub or decision, but you know what? I'll tell you one thing. Oban Elliott is a dog in this one. He's a pretty significant dog. So definitely when we talk about the betting there, he looks like a good dog to pick there. So I'm not gonna diss him too much there. I do think he's still pretty good, and he might be a good dog on the dog list come betting time. So let's move on up to the next fight now.
All right.
Uh, Go for it. Take it over.
So we got is this the last fight on the prelims?
No, it's not. We got a few more.
All right. So Modestas Bukauskas here against Marcin Prachnio. Here I'm gonna have to go with Modestas Bukauskas. I think like he knows what it takes to stay in the UFC. He fought his way back after being kicked out of the UFC. I think overall he's the better fighter. Like if you look in his last fight, he lost against juiced up Vitor Petrino Belfort there, and which is really no shame in that. And before that, he beat Zach Paga, Tyson Pedro in the UFC. So decent enough guys for a guy that some people thought would not be in the UFC anymore. With Prachnio, what I like about Prachnio personally is his kicks. Like that's the best part of his game. Although the rest of his game is kind of lacking. He leaves himself way too open, I find, and I just think Bukauskas is too steady in there. He's going to be able to avoid the big knockout kick, which may be Prachnio's only shot. And so I see a decision win for Bukauskas or or knockout.
Nice.
How
Okay,
you?
we are in agreement again in this one. Nice. This is looking good. I like Modestas Bukauskas as well. The Baltic Gladiator to get the win here. We can see here that he's going to be younger, 30 years old compared to the
Yeah,
6 Martian Prachnio.
6 years younger. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah, he's also going to have a 4-inch reach advantage, which is good for Modestas Bukauskas because he likes to stay on the outside, likes to get stay at range and jab and kick and do his thing. I know Prachnio is not going to be able to get those kicks because of the distance, the reach advantage for Bukauskas. So it'll be harder for Prachnio to do what he usually does with his kicks. And that's all he really has, Prachnio, is kicks. He doesn't
Yeah.
really have much striking.
His legs may be longer.
Maybe. I don't find him that good. You know, honestly, I've never been
No, he's not that good.
Pacquiao, man. The guy is up and down in the UFC. He beat Ike Villanueva back in 2021. Then he lost to Philip Lins. Then he beat William Knight. Then he lost to Vitor Petrino. Then he beat Devin Clark. So he's up and down. Bukauskas, he did lose his last fight to Vitor Petrino, but so did Prachnio. They both lost to Vitor Petrino.
You know what though? They're really like just real mid fighters because you look at Bukauskas, he's not really that consistent either. Before going on that winning streak, he lost to Roundtree, Michael Olachechik, Jimmy Crute even. So
Yeah, but I still like the fact that he bounced back, beat Lee Chadwick in the lower level, beat Chuck Campbell. Then he beat Tyson Pedro and Zach Pauga. Pauga's pretty good too, a very good grappler, very good clinch guy. I think that this is a good matchup here for Bukauskas to get the win. I think he's going to be the better striker, and I think he's going to land more, just land more strikes and land more punches than Praknio. Praknio, all he does is kick. He's not a very good boxer, and I'm not threatened by Praknio trying to take down Bukauskas at all in this one. So I got Modestas Bukauskas to win this one, and I have him winning by decision in this one. All right. So we are in agreement there, at least. That's good. So we only had one disagreement so far. Let's move on up to the next fight. We got Caroline Loughran versus Jake Hadley. I'm going for Caroline Loughran from Ireland to beat the English Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley, I find he's overrated. This guy, he's lost 3 of his last 5 fights. Loughran's looking good. 28 years old. They're both around the same age, the same height. Hadley's going to have a little bit of a reach advantage, but one of the things that's going to be significant is you're going to see that Caroline Loughran is going to be bigger. He's more built, he's more muscular, he's thicker, and he's also very good at grappling. Wrestling, he'll take down Jake Hadley. Jake Hadley likes to stay on his back and try to throw up subs. I don't think that he'll be able to get a sub on Loughran. Loughran's going to do some ground and pound. He's got very good ground and pound. Loughran's going to get on top of him, ground and pound. I think if he lands some strikes, he might hurt Jake Hadley. We've seen Hadley get hurt from punches. I just think Hadley is not that good. He's overrated to me. Jake Hadley in his last 3 losses, one came to Charles Johnson by unanimous decision. He lost to Cody Durden, who we saw just last week. Cody Durden looking like crap, and he lost to him. He did beat Malcolm Gordon and
the legendary Malcolm Gordon was giving him a run for his money before he put him away.
That is true. So he almost lost that too. And then he lost to Alan Nascimento. You know what I mean? So I like the run that Caroline Loughran's on, and I think he gets the win here. I got him winning by ground and pound, so probably by KO or doctor stoppage.
Yeah, I just think in this case, Jake Hadley is going to waste too much energy going for those useless subs as he does quite often. And yeah, I think Lauren's going to be too much for him. Lauren's last loss, no shame in that. He lost to was it Lopoulos? No, Angel Pacheco, which was unanimous decision. Sorry, but he did lose to Lopoulos before that. No
Taylor
shame.
Lopoulos is his last loss. Yeah.
Yeah, but he came back against Angel Pacheco there. So good to see him turn it around. I think he's going to be way too much for Jake Hadley. And this could be the last we see of Jake Hadley. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously, if he loses this one, he might be out. He's on a 2-fight losing streak. And then, like I said, lost 3 of his last 5. So, yeah, Caroline Loughran's the pick, man. You too?
Yeah.
Nice. We're in agreement in this one as well. Looking good for the prelims so far. All right. So let's move on up to the next
All right.
fight.
So next we got Meatball Molly McCann against Bruna Brazil. Here I got to go with Molly McMahon looking into this fight. She's going down in weight at the proper weight class with her. And you know what that means when she's at the lower weight class. She makes a meatball pate, man, out of guys, out of guys and girls in the women's division. Bruna Brazil, I don't like. She has kind of like takedown ability, but I don't think she's strong enough for Molly McCann here. She's not going to be able to do what other girls have done to Molly McCann, which is take advantage of her weak takedown defense. I think she's going to bull through Bruna Brazil here and come away with the victory. The crowd's going to be super behind her. And yeah, that's it. Molly McCann, hometown advantage.
Yes, we are in agreement. I'm loving this, man. So far in the prelims, we're in agreement in everything except for one fight. I love it, man. Molly McCann is the pick for me as well.
I just don't see it. I just don't see it, man. Just don't see it.
Yeah, I like Molly McCann to win this one. I think she's the better fighter than Bruna Brazil. She's better all around. She's got grappling. She's got striking. She's got submissions. No, I'm saying she's good overall. Like whereas Bruna Brazil is just a striker. We've never seen her really do any grappling or any kind of wrestling or submissions. It's mostly on the feet for Bruna. But for Molly McCann, she's got strikes, and we've seen her just in her last fight. She got the submission on Diana Belbita. We never thought that she could even do really submissions, but she's got submissions out of her back pocket there, and pulled one on Diana Belbita, who's also pretty decent. She lost to Julia Stoliarenko and Erin Blanchfield, but those are really, really good grapplers and really, really good submission artists, whereas Bruna Brazil is not at all a very good grappler or a submission or have any good jiu-jitsu like Erin Blanchfield or Julia Stoliarenko. And also she beat Hannah Goldie, knocked her out, and beat Luana Carolina, who we saw how good she was just last week. Don't forget, Molly McCann beat Luana Carolina, and we saw how good Luana Carolina was last week. I got Molly McCann winning this one by decision or a knockout. We might see a spinning back fist, a spinning elbow, or something cool from McCann in the later rounds. I say probably in over 1.5 rounds, hopefully, and she'll beat Bruna Brazil there. So I didn't like the last loss by that little midget Luma Lubumi, who actually beat Bruna Brazil in her last fight by unanimous decision. She looked like she didn't even know what she was doing.
She out-toughed her. That's the thing, you know.
That little midget of Luma
Bruna Brazil can be out-toughed.
You know what I mean? And she kept getting, and not to mention, she lost to Denise Gomez as well and got knocked out by her as well in her UFC debut. So yeah, I like Molly McCann in this one. I think Molly McCann is better than Luma, Shauna Bannon, and Denise Gomez. So Molly McCann could beat Bruna Brazil, I think, easily there by decision. All right, so we are in agreement with this one. And now we are getting to the next fight here.
Is it Nathaniel Wood against
This is going to be the main event of the prelims. Finally, we made it through, man. This is a large prelim, guys. A very big prelim in this one with 9 fights. All right, so we got Nathaniel Wood against Daniel Pineda. Who you got here, Andy O?
Here I'm going to have to go with Nathaniel Wood. I can't really in right mind pick 49-year-old Daniel Pineda here to win this one. Especially after, you know, being caught for the steroids and in his latest good little run there, and now he's supposedly clean. He doesn't implement his ground game enough. He's a black belt, yada, yada. Nathaniel Wood, like, don't get me wrong, he's no prospect, you know? He's been a disappointment to me, but he's just so much younger, and he's going to be able to find the job done. Pineda's going to get tired, and I think he's going to put him away. It's hard to say with Nathaniel Wood, but he should be able to tough this one out and probably get a, let's just say, knockout or decision. And for those of you thinking of putting a sprinkle on Pineda, since he's such a highly priced underdog, just put knockout or sub, because every time this guy wins, it's by knockout or sub. 28 of his wins have come by finish. He never won a decision, and he's lost all his decisions by losses.
That's a very, very good observation, and I think that could be a nice dog play when we talk about the betting there for
just in case
Daniel Pineda, the KO sub, because he does go out there and he does try to finish. He does go out there. He's pretty wild, but my pick is Nathaniel Wood, man. He's just the more technical fighter, the better technical striker. I think he's going to be more precise. He's a decision machine, man. He got the unanimous decision on Andre Fili in his last win. He beat Charles Jourdain by unanimous decision. He beat Charles Rosa by unanimous decision. The only 2 losses he has is to Mohamed Naimov, who's really good, and he lost to Casey Kenny, who's also decent. So I like the fact that he's fought better fighters. I mean, who has Daniel Pineda really fought? Like, he lost to Alex Caceres, but then
Mohamed Naimov weight bullied him too.
Yeah, Tucker Lutz we saw he's not amazing or anything like that. He did get a sub win over him, but he got the no contest eye poke with Andre Fili, lost to Cub Swanson, got knocked out, and he beat Herbert Burns. These guys are not that great compared to Nathaniel Wood's fighters that he fought. I think are much better. They are the same height, the same reach. It's just that he's going to be so much younger, Nathaniel Wood, at 30 years old, compared to the almost 40-year-old Daniel Pineda. So I'm liking it. I like Nathaniel Wood in this one to win by decision. And man, this is one of those cards again. UFC 304. Me and Andy O in agreement with every single fight except for one fight. And that is Oban Elliott and Preston Parsons. And everything else we agreed on, and that means money, money, money. So whenever we agree on all the fights, man, we always end up doing good in the betting.
Yeah, and if you guys like these prediction videos, hit that like, hit that subscribe.
That's right, guys. Like and subscribe. KAMMA, baby. Stay tuned for the next video for the main card.